What up, athletes? Welcome back to my channel. Here we are again, this time in Kitty, Campbellville, on the train line road. Now look at this, they've just completed the surface of the train line road in this section. So where are we? We're almost at the end. That is the junction, the point where the train line road meets Campbell Avenue and what becomes Campbell Avenue becomes Sandy Bab Street on the eastern side of this intersection, and that train line road continues all the way down. Last time we passed this area, this street, the train line, was dirt. The only part that was paved is this part that appears light, right? This narrow strip that appears light in the video. The dark black surface has been created in the last couple of days, because the last time I was in this neck of the woods, about 2 or 3 days ago, there was no surface here. They've actually put this surface down, the asphalt down, in the last 2 or 3 days, like over the weekend, maybe Friday or Saturday, because last week it wasn't here. So this is what's happening here, guys. They've actually completed the surface of the road. Now I actually thought that they were going to also create a dual carriageway. In other words, this part of the train line, right on the other side of this line of street lights, could be converted into road surface pavement for traffic going in opposite direction. But apparently what they're going to do is just keep the road on one side of the train line, and they're going to preserve the other side. So it's not an expansion as I thought it would be. It's just a widening of this part of the train line. But at least it's an improvement on what was here before. And now there is another route off of the train line that is the east coast into the city. This is in fact a shorter, it's a diagonal route across the city, kind of a bypass of the main thoroughfares like David Street and the St. John Road, because this takes you all the way down to Sandy Bab Street. You can go across the St. John Road onto Thomas Lands. So this is what's happening here, guys. New road surface on the train line has been completed, and now traffic can move much faster. Alright, traffic can move much faster on the train line all the way down to the parking lot that they converted. The parking lot on Lamaha Street, they've converted the train line into a parking lot on Lamaha Street. Interesting to see what they do, because they're still working on that. I'll show you some improvements as time goes on. But this is it. It's on the eastern side. This is Campbellville, and on the western side, right, that is, we have goats grazing. So interesting that in Georgetown people still have animals. There's no regulation for animals, so there are cows, there are sheep and goats, which leads me to what I'm doing today. Today we're going to explore Plantation Bel Air. We stopped at the point where we were yesterday, examining the new drainage canals that they were building, connecting the canals along the train line with the canals along Rupert Craig Highway and building these deep drains at Bel Air Springs and Bel Air Gardens. What we want to do today is to take a look at the neighborhood south of Bel Air Springs while we wait for permission to record some video in those gated communities. Bel Air Springs and Bel Air Gardens are gated communities, and so I've actually asked the security guards there to request permission for me to get some footage of the new developments in those neighborhoods. But in the meantime, while I wait, what we're going to do today is film Plantation Bel Air, which is south of Bel Air Springs, and Prashad Nagar. So these are two predominantly Indian neighborhoods with Indian names, and we're going to find out the history of how was it that Dr. Chetty Jagan, the godfather of the nation, this is the leader of the PPP and who became president again in 1992. He has a home, his first home he built in Plantation Bel Air, which is next door to Prashad Nagar, and we're going to take a look at that today and see what new changes and developments are happening in that neck of the woods. But this is what's happening here on the train line road. They have completed the road surface of one section of the road, and now we're heading to Plantation Bel Air, which is continuous with train line. This is, what is it, a wreck yard? I guess you can get parts to buy from these vehicles that are being salvaged. That is wrecked and recycled. Okay, that's the industry in this neck of the woods. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Tell people what's happening here in Georgetown, Guyana, the fastest growing country in the world. Later!